Hello and welcome to another episode of Raman Rewinds. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about the glamour boy in the 70s who was a dashing batter, was a fantastic fielder, and was always trendy. And people who saw him during that time will remember the handlebar moustache he sported. And he was also a very promising cricketer when he started off in international cricket. But unfortunately, his career did not take off as well and did not prolong as long as everybody thought it will. However, he made a mark for himself when he got a century. Yes, I'm talking about Brijesh Patel, the middle order batter from Karnataka. He was very promising. Clive Lord, in fact, went as far as to say that he is probably one who will be the backbone of the Indian batting lineup when he saw him in the 74-75 season. But however, despite making a few knocks which are of great significance for the fortunes of Indian side, he did not really blossom into one of the greats that people thought he might. This is perhaps due to the fact that, as he himself says, was not possible because those days the helmets were not available for the batters to provide that extra protection. However, he was one of the biggest run getters in domestic cricket, and he did not end his rise to cricket once he stopped playing. He executed a lot of roles after retirement. He got into administration. He was the secretary of the KSCA. He also happened to be the manager of the Indian team on several tours. He was also a part of the selection committee. And then he also was the chairman of the NCA. And of course, his final hurrah was being the chairman of the IPL. Brijesh Patel made a name for himself as an administrator. He got into administration very soon after he retired from cricket. Then, of course, there were quite a few who did not think he was great as an administrator, but I, for one, believe that he was perhaps the best cricketer turned administrator as far as Indian cricket administration is concerned. He looked after the players of his state really well, and he also fitted in seamlessly with the dual role that he played at one stage, that of being the secretary of the KSA and also the CEO of the local franchisee RCB. He utilized that double role to try and ensure that the players benefited in terms of them being given a kind of a benefit game whenever an IPL game was scheduled. His biggest contribution as an administrator was in allowing the BCCI to put up the High Performance Center, which is called the NCA in Bangalore. And to his credit, it has to be said that the contribution that he made in that route is something unparalleled. Because one is that he didn't charge, two is that it's not enough just providing the space, but to create the infrastructure and to constantly support the NCA in all that it wants to do is something phenomenal. And what he started then is continued. Of course, NCA will go into a new complex at a new venue very soon. But until now, what is being done by the KSA and, of course, because of Brijesh leading from the front as the secretary of the KSA and having NCA in the Chinnaswamy Stadium is fantastic. As a cricketer, I had the fortune of playing with him in Ranji Trophy cricket, rather against him, because that was the format then. The states within the zone will play against each other. And he also played league cricket in Chennai, which meant that you would get opportunities to meet and pick his brains. He was a fantastic strategist. And of course, he was a hard-nosed competitor too. And he would do anything and everything to distract the opponents, to try and gain an edge over them. And he was very famous for going up to the umpire and suggesting to the umpires that the bowler he faced was proving to be difficult, was chucking. and that is the gamesman kind of shit that he engaged himself in. But otherwise, he was very reticent. It is very difficult to make him talk a lot. But whenever he spoke, there was some substance to it. It was not that he was standoffish, it's just that he was not an extrovert, but a helpful man, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm sure that a lot of cricketers in Karnataka will agree as well, barring a few. Of course, no man who has executed as many roles as Brijesh Patel has done will end up being the favorite to everybody, because he's taken up roles where it involved a lot of decision making, and any decision making role will obviously fetch you some detractors, especially if you are in that particular position for a long time. Karnataka would obviously be very proud of what Brijesh Patel has done as a cricketer and also as an administrator, and of course is highly respected by people in the cricketing fraternity, not only for his agility on the field and his aggressive style of batting in those days, but also for the overall contribution that he's made in several roles. Be that as it may, Brijesh Patel obviously now cannot be involved in any kind of roles, as he's done anything and everything that is there to be done. And I'm sure that he'll still be consulted by administrators across the country whenever they run into a problem, whenever they need some suggestions about the way forward, because Brijesh has always been a visionary and is always ready to help people with suggestions or any other kind of help that they might need. Well, and Brijesh, it's been a fantastic career. I'm sure that when you look back on what you've done over a long period of time, when you were involved in cricket as a player and as an administrator, you'll be really proud. And it was a pleasure talking to you about cricket in my formative years. And there were a lot of learnings from you as well, as to how to go about things and how to approach the game, how the mental thought process should be. And thank you for all those valuable insights that you provided, and of course, for all the help that you did in several roles whenever I approached you. Happy retirement as far as cricket is concerned, because I think you need to uh, take it easy now. You've been really involved in many things for many, many years. Enjoy your retirement, and I'm sure that somewhere down the line we might see your junior try and emulate what you did post retirement. On that note, I'd like to wind up this episode, and until I catch up with you next time, be good and stay safe.